Hello everybody, I'm going to go through a game that I had today, and this is a game that happened after I had some video feedback left on a few of my other matches that pointed out that I had sometimes been using my bishop pawns in ways that created a lot more weaknesses for me than strengths. So that was from user Falsified. His YouTube username is JJ32768. He's got some great videos online. I watched quite a few of them last night, so definitely check them out when you got the time. But we'll go through the game here and see what kind of difference this made. So my opponent goes to E4, and I go up to E5. Also, Falsified taught me some more openings, like what they're called, which is good because I'm really not that book smart yet. I've been reading chess books, but still not comfortable enough to rattle off opening names like gambits and the French and all that kind of stuff. So, but I'm getting there. I come out with knight c6, and he plays knight c3. So at this point in time, if you've watched some of my other games, I might have done this. But after that feedback, I just keep these pawns here, this pawn here, and this pawn here, and do threatening the knight. So I actually just trade here, double up his pawns. Now they won't be doubled up for long, as you'll see. So now I go knight f6, which is a square that usually would be occupied by a pawn in my other playstyle. So this was part of the comment as well. So he plays pawn to d4, I take, and he takes. Now here, I just push up to d5, and he comes up to e5, putting pressure on my knight. But now I can just move my knight to e4, and he's protected by the pawn, which I believe is called an outpost. From Falsified as well, that's one of the points he was talking about. Opponent plays to d3 with the bishop. I'm not worried about losing the knight. And if I do, I can take back and threaten his knight at the same time. So instead I play my bishop up to f5. Opponent castles, and I castle. Comes down with bishop g5, threatening my queen. Now I could have taken here, but it would have caused quite a bit of a mess, so let's just play through that. Could have done that. You know, maybe he comes down here and takes that knight. Could trade bishops here. So that's what would have happened if I would have played that. And I didn't want to do that though, because we've got the queen here with a lot of access. We've got a knight here who's probably going to be supported by the queen very quickly if I don't take it. So let's just go back to where we were here. So he comes down with bishop, but now I just push the pawn to f6. He moves bishop f4. And I take my knight out of here. I know it's going the opposite way, but my thinking was at the time when I was analyzing this, I was like, you know, I need to do something over here. This was really tight near the center and in the center, and I figured the game breaker was going to come on this side of the board, unless a big mistake was made over here. So that was my plan. So he goes knight to h4, and I start to work on the right side of the board with b6. Strengthens the attack on my knight, which is still protected by two pieces, so I wasn't too concerned. So now I make a move to peel one of these pawns off. He doesn't take that opportunity yet, though. He just takes my bishop, and I use my knight to take his. So some changes are going on in the center. He takes my knight with his bishop, and I capture with pawn. Rook takes pawn. And now I take that pawn on the d file. So now he plays queen to g4, attacking my weak knight. So I push the queen up to d7, protecting it. He pushes the pawn down, and I move the queen up to d5. So now I'm protecting the pawn still and the knight. And he goes rook to e1. Now here, I knew that at some point, unless I took this pawn out, which was very unlikely due to the power here, I just preemptively moved my rook over, just so that at an inopportune moment of the game, let's say I would have played this, let's say 5-10 moves down the road, he forces me to do the same move at a time when I don't want to be forced into playing a move other than my strategy. So I would have been, forced at some point to do that anyway. So what I thought was, just get that out of the way now while I have the opportunity. He comes down with an attack on my queen. I just move the queen over to c5. I'm not attacking the rook anymore, but I'm still backing up this knight. The way I saw things, if I lost this knight, I was pretty much done. So I had to really watch it. So from here, rook to d1, and now I continue to push up my centerpieces a bit. Rook to d3, or not centerpieces, right pieces. Now I'm going for another pawn here. He takes, I take. Gives his king a little escape square just in case I do manage to slide a check on the back rank, which would be checkmate unless blocks wouldn't work if it was on this side. So I take the pawn, and my thought at the time was to trade the rooks. He didn't do that. He goes to d1. So now I start marching up my my b pawn. He goes for blocking position. I continue to go. Attacks my queen, but that's okay. I just moved back to where I wanted her anyway. And now the queen's blocking this pawn as well. So from here, my opponent, because I moved my queen back, this rook was weak, so he moves his queen. So now the pressure's off my knight, and I move rook to a2. He moves rook to b1, and at this point I just push up. Now my strategy was, with the whole rook thing here, was that with his king here, eventually all I would have to do, like this, that's his next move. Let's just say, I'm just going to mess the pieces up here a little bit. What I was planning was rook here. He can't take the pawn. He would put himself in check. So really his only option is either to stay there and let me take it, or take and then I can promote like that. So that was the thinking. So anyway, he goes queen to e2. Now I don't want to lose sight of my strategy here, so I've got a problem now. I've got this queen who's throwing a different scenario into it, so I got to take care of it. And I came up with a little way to force a fork between the queen and the rook, as you'll see here. Push my pawn up, attacking the queen. Queen falls back to e1. Move my knight now, who's going to be protecting, or threatening rather, e2. He moves his pawn to f3, and I push now, attacking the rook. So he could have dropped his rook down to e5, which would have been a better move for him. But I kind of got him to go here, and I'm not too sure. I'm probably thinking the reason he did that is because, I would just take with the rook here and create some big problems. So here's my fork that I was working towards. So I do that, and he makes an interesting move, which turns out to be a blunder here. He basically is a roundabout way of saying let's trade queens, but unfortunately his rook was not protected. So that didn't work out too well. So now his queen's still under attack. So he has to move his queen, and now I'm going to go through with the rook strategy here. Moves his queen to b6, and I just take. At this point, my opponent resigns. So, I really appreciate the feedback that I got on my videos, and incorporating it into my future games like I did with this one here is just great. That is the reason why I started this YouTube channel, to help get better, both in my playing, and then if I can help other people get better too at the same time, who are in similar rating or working their way up. Hey, that's awesome. So thanks for the feedback. I'd also like to say that now I'm going to be posting links to my PGN files of my games, so that when people do make responses, they can actually use the PGN file in their own editor instead of trying to put the moves in their just by watching a video. So hopefully I'll find a place to put those links, but take care and I hope you enjoy the video.